What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well out there. Today's video is just going to be a sit-down chat like this. Not every video has to be all edited up and have music in it and all that stuff. Some videos can just be raw chat. So that's what I'm going for today, guys. I want to get back to doing some simpler videos and just chatting with you guys. So anyways, it is, it's a pretty nasty day out there. We've got severe storm warnings. And I just wanted to have a little chat with you about the time that I took off to Colorado in the wintertime to start my gold prospecting season a little bit early. Well, I believe it was mid-March, maybe early March. I'm not quite sure on the date, but I know when I rolled into Colorado, there was snow all over the place, and you could ride past. I remember going down some hills and stuff and looking at the mountains all covered in snow, and it was pretty sweet, and seeing some snowmobilers out and stuff like that. And I'm going gold mining, and these guys are going snowmobiling. Anyhow, I got to the place where I was going, and I drive up the mountain to go to the campsite. And, well, what happens is I get stuck. I mean, I'm literally pretty close to where I need to be. I just about made it to my camp spot, but I got stuck. And I had a shovel with me, of course, and I tried to get out and stuff. But anyways, I was going up a hill, and you slide off the hill, it goes down into the deeper ditch, and once you slide off into the deeper ditch, you're fucked. So anyhow, yeah, I got stuck there on the mountain, up the hill, and I just had to stay there for like 2 days, guys. I think it was at least 2 days. So I talked to my friends on the phone, and I got through it that way in just the first couple days. And really, honestly, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. But some guy who lives on top of the mountain, and I almost think he had a CB antenna, or like one of those scanners that could pick up phone calls. I wouldn't be surprised if he was listening to me on top of the mountain. I really, really can't be. Like, really wouldn't be surprised, because when he came down, he's like, yeah, I wasn't planning on coming down today. It was a couple days later. And he said he had to go to town and help somebody work on his car or something. But anyhow, he ended up pulling me out with a Subaru. Damn, why am I having such a hard time talking? Subaru? Anyways, it's on the tip of my brain. Anyways, he pulled me out with his all-wheel drive car. It was kind of embarrassing. I looked at the car he had. I'm like, how in the hell is this guy going to pull me out with that? And he did. I was like, wow. So that was an eventful time in Colorado there, friends. I ended up getting unstuck and driving off to California after that. And when I got to California, things didn't get much better for me. I went down to my secret gold mining spot, and I always walk down the path because it's a very steep road down. It's a very steep road back up, of course. But there's a little switchback. You go down, and then you switch. You go down, and then you switch back, and you go down again, and then you're down in the main area. I always check it out. Anyways, I walked down, turned the switch back to go all the way down the other way, and you know what was there? Probably at least a 500, 600, 700 pound. Maybe I'm exaggerating there, but maybe not. I mean, this thing was huge. A tree stump had rolled off the top of the hill, and this thing is huge. I mean, there's no way you're getting around it. And that was in the road, so I'm glad I walked down there to see the situation. So anyways, the only way I was going to get that out of the way was if I got a tow strap out. So, and put the tow strap around the tree stump and pull it out of the way, which ended up working. But in the process of doing it, I talk about running off the road and going down the hill. Well, the ditch there as well, you don't want to fall off the side, and I'm backing up with this thing, getting this thing out of the way, and my van catches just a little bit this side, and I mean just a little bit, and the road behind me just gives out, my van slides down. And I'm telling you, you don't want to go much farther down, because you're gonna have a huge problem. So I just had to shut the van off and assess the situation, and long story short, I had to get a whole bunch of rock cobbles, and I had to build up, like, my back tire of the van, like the passenger rear of the van I'm not saying it's hanging on air, but it's close. So I had to get a whole bunch of stones and build a road underneath my van. And then I just had to get in the driver's seat after that and just pray to God that put it in drive and pray that I'm going to get out of there. And I did. I got out of there. But man, getting stuck in Colorado and then going to California and getting stuck again. Man, that was my wintertime gold mining experience in Colorado. And the reason I'm bringing this story up right now is because I'm thinking of places to go gold prospecting and thinking about how I want to start my next gold prospecting season out. And, well, the dollars do play a part in things, guys. You know, for example, gas out in California is probably like $4, $4.50 a gallon. Maybe it's $4.30. I don't know. I usually research it. I look it up at least once a month, once or twice a month, just to see how things are going out there. Hopefully, gas can get down to high twos. That would be nice. I'm trying to think the cheapest that I've ever seen it out there. Maybe even $3.50, but $4.50, man. Gas prices suck all over, but they especially suck out there for sure. So what I'm getting at is, where do you prospect out of? You know, it does not take long, as I said before, to burn gas out in California driving up and down the road. You can spend a lot of money pretty fast. That's my biggest cost and expense on the road is fuel and keeping the van running. But fuel is the biggest one, keeping the van running, putting gas in the van. And the thing about going to Colorado is I can go to Colorado and I can park right outside the gold mine, and I can pretty much not have to drive at all, and I can conserve on gas as well. And there's a couple spots like that in Colorado. But the gold in California is better from what I've seen. However, I have found some good gold in Colorado that has compared to any of the gold that I've ever found in California. So if anybody out there is saying that there is not chunky gold in Colorado, I would have to beg to differ with you on that, because I have found some really nice, I have found some thumb pieces, some pinky finger pieces. I have found some really nice coarse gold in Colorado, and I know that it's there. However, the abundance of gold in Colorado is flour gold. You know, like literally baking flour, like that. And an interesting story about the flour gold. The Coors plant, I'm not quite sure where they're located at this time, but I have heard a story, and I don't know if it's true, but those guys get millions of dollars a year worth of gold from the filters that they use to pull from they're pulling water out of the Arkansas, I believe, to brew. And anyhow, they're pulling all this water out of the river that's going through their filters, and they're not even trying to go gold mining, but I guess they catch a nice amount of gold each year when they clean the filters out. And they're not even looking for it. So there's a lot of gold flowing in the rivers, friends. But a lot of the Colorado gold is very, very fine, and it takes a while to get anything added up with fine gold, but it's there. And I love Colorado, guys. I love the state. It's my first real mountain state. I guess I went to a trip down in Florida in my early days when I was before my 16 or something, so I've seen the Smoky Mountains and stuff like that, but there isn't much that compares to the Rocky Mountains, friends. And anyhow, I like Colorado. It's a beautiful state. Great place to go in the summertime when everybody in Illinois is sweating their balls off. Like, you know, when you're out and you're just literally just like standing outside and your shirt is just soaked full of sweat and the humidity is horrible. You know where a great place to be is in the Rocky Mountains. I mean, it is just absolutely beautiful. I remember it getting like really hot in between the times of like 1 to 3. By that time, you just go back to camp and hang out for a little bit. And that's like the hottest part of the day. And once you get past that, it is just absolutely beautiful. So Colorado is a great place to go escape the heat up in the high mountains in the summertime. In the wintertime, though, it is cold. And the last part of the story here, which is why I started even picking up what I want to tell you guys about the day. My coldest day living in a van. Well, I remember camping outside the cemetery up on the mountain one night in Colorado after I got unstuck, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going back up to that camp spot, and everywhere else was snowed out. So, yeah, I camped outside the cemetery, and my sleeping bag, the corner of it, however, through the night, like half of my sleeping bag got onto the floor of the van. And when I woke up, my van was having, I'm not going to go there. Anyways, I woke up and my sleeping bag was frost white, like literally hard as a rock and covered in frost. And I was like, holy shit, man. Yeah, it got cold, friends, cold. And this was the days before I had a heater in my van. I had a propane stove, cooking stove, kind of like this one. And that was my heat, and that actually works pretty good. Now people say that can be dangerous, but really you would have to run a really long time before that would be in the danger zone. If you had a little window cracked, you get a little air out, so you can stay warm that way. But yeah, so I would just run my stove until I went to bed. I'd have it on and off, and it did warm the place up in here. It worked pretty good actually. But anyways, my van was having there was a sensor out. It was telling me that, I can't remember what a mass airflow sensor is what the code was reading. So I went to the parts store. They told me that's what the code was reading. And I bought a new mass airflow sensor. Well, I had to interrupt my raw chat. I forgot to mention the part about when I went to the parts store and there was a guy in there and he was like, man, it got cold last night. That was a record-setting night. I guess they had record-setting night on how cold it was, and I was like, yeah, I was sleeping in a van. Yeah, I bought a mass airflow sensor and put it on, and that did not fix the problem. It turns out what the problem actually was is there's an oil sensor, there's a blow-by. It collects all the blow-by, and it sends it back, and it goes on the valve cover. Anyways, the little blow-by valve was melted. I don't know how it melted, but I remember going up to, like, when you started driving in Colorado, guys, and you get into the mountains, like, you have the pressure changes, and your engine also has to work harder, which means you have to push the gas down harder to have the same amount of power on lower elevation with not as much gas. And it's crazy because you have your foot all the way in it, and there's been times I'm like, is this thing blown up? Come on now, let's go. And that's when I started to smell all that burning and all that. The engine lights started flashing on and off, and I had no choice except to keep going. And I actually just drove my van like that for the rest of the season. I went out to California that year, and when I got back and actually took my van apart back here at home, and I found that valve all melded together because there was a little bit of oil. I noticed there was always oil underneath my van, just a little bit of oil. Well, it turns out that blow-by valve, like I said, was all melded shut. And yeah, that was the problem. The old blow-by valve was all melded together. So yeah, I'm sitting here, guys. I am jonesing out a little bit. I do kind of want to go with Colorado and go back and revive myself and do some winter Colorado gold mining and van camping. What I really want, though, for that situation that I don't have right now is I don't need it, but I almost kind of do. You guys ever seen those two-stroke weed whacker bikes? Yeah, I almost need to throw one of those on back so I can leave my van camp, like I could park on top of the mountain there and I could drive my little bicycle two-stroke bike down to the gold mine every day. Or I could just park outside the gate, but that's not a lot of privacy, not the best camp spot, but I could do that because it is BLM property. Gold prices are up high, friends, and gold adds up more than it did years previously, and there is good gold at that place, but everybody and their brother has been there where I'm talking about. I'm not going to say where I'm talking about exactly right now. I don't know if I want to share it, but I probably will in the future. But anyhow, I have been thinking about that. Yeah, I go back and forth on it. Not sure if I want to take on the Colorado winter and go gold mining there in the wintertime, or if I'm just going to skip right past Colorado and go out west and get started. At the end of the day, guys, it does a lot of it does come back to dollars, though. It's like, yeah, you could find more gold in California, and that's where I'm going to end up anyway. So, like, why not just go there anyway? But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy prospecting in other states. Another good gold prospecting state is Idaho. Idaho has a lot of gold, and I found gold there as well. It's another state that I could really explore a lot, friends. The thing about Idaho, though, is, well, I have a lot more exploring to do there and a lot more gas money to spend there. And California, I know the area a little bit more. There's a lot of areas in California I don't know and I want to explore, but I have a main area in California that I can go. I'm part of the New 49ers Gold Club, and 65 miles of claims up and down the river. There's a lot more camping around there. I've been there for on and off over the last decade. I know the area a lot better. I know how to navigate it a lot better. I know there's gold there. There's life-changing gold there. You just got to find it. But, you know, go to Colorado. Gas is $2-something a gallon. Gas is cheaper in Colorado than it is in my hometown. Yeah, most of the time. And the grocery prices are pretty much just about the same. I haven't seen much difference in pricing from Colorado to Illinois, except that things are sometimes cheaper in Colorado, like gas. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. They're in the mountains too. So you could go to Colorado, you could get gold, you could make content, and you can live on a lot less money. That I'm still going to go out west of California. But, you know, I want to stop by Colorado and say hello and see the state again. And I kind of want to go. There's a couple of different places I'd like to prospect there. And it would just be interesting to see what kind of gold I can come up with. If you're driving out west anyway, it's really not that. It's not, depending on what way you go. If you go on 80 out west, which I've GPSed it, 80 out west is the quickest route to get out to California. But you can shoot down on 80 and go south, or you can go on 70, I think it's 70, and it goes right. You can actually take Highway 24 in it. If you stay on 24, you will drive straight through the town of Colorado Springs. And I love me the Colorado Springs. I do. I've actually lived in a tent in one of my buddy's backyard years back in the Springs. So I know the Springs, friends. And anyhow, all right. That is a 17-minute chat. I hope I've entertained you guys. I hope you have found this enjoyable. And I just enjoyed turning the camera on and having a chat with you. So thank you very much for watching. If you're still here right now and haven't done it, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe button, and the like button. And thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.